Okay. Good evening, guys. So today is our first class of CCNP security. Okay. Let me increase the font size. So in CCNP security, so first of all, we need to understand the network fundamentals, right? So guys, do you know what is network fundamental and why we need security for it? Any one of you? Okay. Network fundamental is that is collection of multiple uh, features to establish a network. Like we have physical appliance, right? First of all, physical devices you can say, and then we have some logical device also, and we also use traffic to forward to any device, right? So we have data also, and then we have some protocol suites as well. Those helps to communicate the network. Okay, let me explain you these things. Suppose we have here end users. Okay, those are going to connect with my switch. So this is my network switch, and network switch is going to connect with my router, and router is connected with internet, right? So as we know, internet have multiple type of applications and apps, right? They have servers, okay, and etc. So whenever user is trying to ping, so there are multiple things. So first of all, we connect multiple physical devices, like we have router to establish the network, we have switch to connect the layer 2 devices, right? And we have physical media as well, which is going to be used to forward the data through it, right? And after these physical devices, we come up with some protocol suites. Like protocol suites, those helps to make communication, to build the control plane traffic, guys. Okay, control plane means I'm talking about like this router is going to be use some protocol like OSPF or BGP. Maybe they have some other devices also in the network like R2. So R2 is going to connect here, and you have here multiple servers like this, right? So these are going to be connected with your one switch and the other switch also in data center, and that is connected with the data router. So you must use some routing protocol to forward the traffic between the network appliance and to forward to the external network as well. So when we connect multiple appliance, so that start communicating with each other or to the internet, right, or to any other service. So all these equipments establish the network. So these are the fundamental, right? Fundamental is hardware, uh, hardware, your logical device, physical device, and the routing protocols and the user data, right? So all things come together and make one solution. So that is network. So in this network, if I'm going to ask you about, if I'm going to ask you about types of traffic, guys, you know the types of traffic, what type of traffic we are using in the network? Anyone? Like, okay, so let me tell you, I have here one router and I want to configure the router. So how I can configure it? Any idea? Like what will be the first approach to configure your device? How you will connect the device? So usually we have to connect with a, first of all we have to connect it with console cable, right? After console cable, we need to access the CLI with some softwares. So we are also using some software to communicate with it, because through console also you are sending the data. Maybe this is your configuration data, doesn't matter, but still you are forwarding data through some application is like putty or secure CRT, right? And after that you will get the CLI and start with the configuration part. Am I right? So in that process, after that your device will be alive in the network with other router, and they will start forwarding some data. So this is divided into multiple categories. This is divided into multiple category. Okay, types of traffic, or I can say it data. Okay, that is good term. So the first one is known as management plane, right? Second one is control plane, and third is data plane. Guys, anyone knows the difference between management plane, control plane and data plane? Any idea?
Management is to configure.
Okay. And control plane? Okay, let me explain you. So I'm starting here with management plane first of all, because in a network we must know about type of traffic and how we can configure that. Okay, so management plane is basically known as from client to traffic forwarded by client to network device. Okay, to manage it, configure. Okay, so there are multiple things that we can achieve with the management traffic. So what is the meaning of management? Management means configure the device. Like I want to configure the device through the CLI, okay, through the GUI. So we need to take the remote of the device. Okay, like how we can use Telnet to take CLI or SSH, right? We can take HTTP or HTTPS. So these are the protocols that help us to configure the device for management purpose. Like if I'm saying I want to configure my router, so usually we use console cable for the first time, right? So let me draw the network. So for an example, we have here one router, here is router 2, and we have firewall 1. Okay, we have firewall 2. Later on we have some core switch, core 1 and core 2. So those are connected in mesh topology in the network like this. Okay, and we connected them like this. So they are forwarding the traffic to the internet. Okay, so this is my internet network and routers are connected like this. Now if someone say, okay Arun, you have to manage all the router, firewall and the switches of the network. Maybe someday they will say you, okay, create a new policy, create a new net policy on your firewall. So you will think, okay, how I will configure? If you don't know, you will not eligible. You are not going like, if you don't know how to configure, you can't configure the device. Why? Because you don't know how to log in the device, which protocol I have to use. I have to use CLI or GUI of the device, graphical user interface, I mean. So we need to configure the device. So every time I will not go to the device and connect my laptop through the console cable, because this is not possible for me every time. Maybe your firewall is inside the data center and you can't go inside data center directly, right? Because there are multiple restrictions in the real infra. So you have to manage the device through a management network, through a management network, guys, right? So for management, at the time of deployment, we enables the features. The first we enable for CLI, like in the case of GUI, if I am facing some challenge and I'm not getting the log of the device, I must have CLI access, because every time tag engineers configure or troubleshoot the device through CLI, mostly times, because we know the GUI of the device. So GUI is very easy to configure the device, to configure policy, NAT, routing. But CLI is for the expert level devices, those are working in tech like Cisco tech, right? Maybe there is some issue between your devices and they are not in high availability, that means in HA, right? High availability means two devices are working parallelly as a single appliance in a network. So every time they need CLI access. Okay, so for CLI you can configure Telnet or SSH, but that is through the management, that is for management purpose. Okay, so I must connect my laptop somewhere in the network through a switch, so I must able to send my traffic to this firewall, okay, to this router, or you can say to this switch, or to this firewall and to this router. So that traffic is forward from a client to network appliance for their management purpose, right? To take their telnet, SSH, or if you have GUI access of the device, you must use HTTP and mostly HTTPS. Okay, that is recommended because of security reasons. So management traffic is always to manage the device, always to configure the device, always to troubleshoot the device. Are you getting my point, guys?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So now I have one question. Do you know the term of out of band management and in band management? There are two terms. If you are talking about the management traffic, okay, management plane. So you know what is the meaning of management plane now? Management which used to manage your device. So the first thing, to access the device, troubleshoot the device, okay, or to collect the log of the device. And there are few more things that is also considered part of the management traffic. Maybe you know one feature, that is SNMP. Anyone know about SNMP?
It's a management protocol.
Yeah, simple network management protocol, which is UDP based, as you know. So this
Yeah.
is usually to collect the device health information, right?
Yes.
Device information like health, okay, we say CPU, RAM,
Utilization.
storage, right, and interface utilization. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so these things we calculate, or sorry, we collect through SNMP protocol. So if I'm talking about these things, like you must know, or you can say your senior say, okay, here Ravi, or anyone, you have to collect the last 1 month data of the device, like what was the health, what was the CPU and storage, interface utilizations, and when interface went down, when went up, right, when your device was in down mode. So all these information you must collect on one device, that is through SNMP. So SNMP is a protocol, but for SNMP you must have one server who have all data, right? So you must configure a server, and that can be any application, that can be third party application. If you know about PTRZ, right? PTRZ is an application which is, you can get free version of it also, but you have subscription model also. So subscription means which give you more features, right, more information of device. So such type of applications used to collect the data through the SNMP. So SNMP is also part of management traffic, right? Because this is giving device information, okay, nothing else. And you have more about like syslog. So we have syslog is also a feature which is also working to collect the logs of the device. Okay, like you will get every log of the device. Log can be CPU related, like CPU went to 90%. Are you getting my point? Like if your device will heat up, so you will get logs for that. So logs are separately maintained by the syslog server. So SNMP is for other things. SNMP can also collect the logs, but syslog is permanent for the logs. Okay, you will get every type of log. If interface shut, no shut, right? If interface is up or down, then you will get a log message. If you remember, we have multiple type of severity levels, 0 to 7. So every severity levels define the critical level. Like if I'm saying we have 0 to 7 severity level, right? So this severity level, not this one. Okay, so severity level, suppose 0 means very critical, right? So if device is about to crash, or your CPU is about to crash, so in that case your device will send with this severity level message to your syslog server. If you have normal logs on the device, like that means you did such type of configuration. So sometimes we have configuration types logs, like we configured BGP and BGP come up in the network, BGP sending you peer is up. So those messages are under your severity level 7. So you no need to worry about that, right? You have to worry about that whenever your critical device is very critical, when interfaces went down, whenever you have some protocol failure on the device. Protocol failure means, okay, OSPF crashed on your router, maybe because of some algorithm issue in OSPF, or maybe you can say uh, loads of route in routing table of OSPF. So OSPF can't handle that. So those are multiple levels. So we have separate server for those purpose. Okay, so that is under management. So there are multiple things. There are multiple things that is for management purpose only. But I hope you get my point. What is the meaning of management plane here, guys? If you have any doubt, please ask.
Yes, sir. I understood.
Benel, any doubt? Sorry, Kenel, any doubt? Shiva?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. So the next one is, okay, in management plane we must know about these two types under the management. So management deployment is two types. Okay, you can see the deployment of management, deployment method basically for management traffic. So the first one is inbound, second is
Outbound.
one in, it's in band actually, my mistake, out of band. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, out of band. So do you know about in band and out of band? Usually we have two methods. One method is you can configure the network devices for Telnet, SSH and GUI. So you can use the same interface which is for user data. And one option you have to establish separate network just to manage your network devices. Okay, let me give you example here. Okay, this is my access switch, this is also access switch. We have some distribution type of device like a layer 3 switch, you can say. Okay, and then we have here ASA, here also ASA, Now they are connected like this. Okay, so users are connected like this. Now if I'm saying you, this is the NOC user, okay, which is working in NOC operations, network operations. So this user have to maintain or configure these devices. So the first thing I already configured the firewall for configuration, like you can take telnet of it, you can take SSH, or the best option I'm giving you graphical user interface. If you want, you can configure it through GUI. But to do all these things, you must reachable to this firewall first, right? So how user is going to reach? So user can hit on this interface, like from this LAN, this, and then from here, right? So that means user is using this particular interface to take the telnet, SSH, or HTTP access. Similar, user is also using the same interface to reach the internet. Are you getting my point? If user want to reach on internet, user have to use same path. Okay, so that means if you are using same physical network connectivity to manage the device and to forward the data, so that is in band mode, right? That is in band mode. Are you getting my point? That means user is using same interface for management purpose and for user data as well. So that is known as in band. For a small network, that is possible to configure as a in band, but in critical environment we prefer as out of band. So how would you manage that? How to configure out of band? We need to use a separate switch. Switch 1, I can configure here one more switch. Switch 2, those switches are into stack, or you can say like physically they are two appliance, but logically I configured them as a single appliance. If like one device CPU is failed, so I have other device to pass the data. Okay, so I'm going to connect all the devices through my management switches, separately like this. Okay, so now if user have to access, so every device have separate management port, to access it. So now they no need to forward the data through the data interface, they can forward the traffic through the management switch to access it, So if your any link failure in the network, like data link is failed, here also data link is failed, so you no need to worry, because if data link is failed, in the case of in band mode, you will lost the remote connection also from the device to take access of it, right? But if you have out of band connectivity and you have separate management switches, so you must connect every device with their management port to this switch and maintain a separate network, so user will access through it directly if they have link failure in network. Is that clear, guys?
Sir, here we use again console or?
We don't use console, we have Ethernet connectivity.
Okay.
Okay, so we have this switch, so you can get one Ethernet wire to your NOC, and they will access through it, so there is no need of console in that case. Okay, so if you check on higher level series switches, like if I'm giving you example, if I'm using Cisco 9300 Catalyst or Nexus switch, so they have separate gig 0 by 0 interface. Okay, that is mentions for management purpose. Okay, and that interface is also part of some management VRF. So this is not a normal interface on the switch at that time, this is only for management purpose. So you must configure this interface, like the IP address on it, okay, like 192.168.100.10. so I'm going to be use this subnet, right? So you have to give a gateway also on this device so they can reach to their gateway device, and this route must be routable for your end user. So whenever end user try to hit this network, this end user must able to reach this network, okay? So if this is clear, let's move with control plane, guys. A control plane is simple if you know about routing protocols. What is control plane traffic, guys? Control plane is from your network device to network device traffic. The traffic moves between the network devices only, okay? So what type of traffic I'm talking about here? Like OSPF, EIGRP, BGP, STP, VTP, DTP, right? And PGP. There are multiple protocols, but I am mentioning the normal protocols which we use or which we see normally on devices. So whenever routers or devices try to establish network connection, so they need such protocols. So those protocols can be configured to pass the network information, right? Because control plane is mandatory to establish a connection for user data, because user data can't forward if they don't have specific gateway or route, right? So whenever users want to communicate with any network, right, like this, so assume this is 10.1, 10.2, and gateways are 10.10, 12.1, 12.2, 20.10, 20.1, and 20.2, right? So we have such type of network. So normally, as we know, router only know by default which networks, those are directly connected, those are directly connected, right? So R1 have only two networks. One is network 10 in routing table like this, and the other network is 12 network, right? So they don't know about the third network which is behind your R2. So in that case, we need to use routing protocols to share route to each other. So that traffic is between R1 to R2 only, okay? Those user no need to know about OSPF, BGP, EIGRP. So that is part of control plane traffic. That is part of control plane traffic, guys. Is that clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So the next one is data plane. Data plane traffic is from client to any application server, okay? The traffic from client to application or servers, okay? Because server have applications inside them, so that is the same thing. So whenever user try to hit any application, like your end user try to access Facebook, right? So Facebook is application which is inside any server, okay? Instagram, YouTube, so these are the application that is part of data plane. Is that clear, guys? Okay, now if this is clear, we can start with management traffic, like how we can configure management traffic on normal devices, type of management traffic, and how we can protect them. As so, management plane, right? So management plane to manage the device, but before managing the device we have to configure the device, right? Need to configure it with initial configuration. Initial means like basic configuration what you can configure on a device, so later on you can manage it, right? So to configure initial configuration, we know how to configure it. So we have two types of configuration. One is CLI, that is command line interface, that is command line interface. That means where you have to configure the commands on the device, right? Where need to configure the device with commands. Okay, so like if I'm talking about my laptop, so laptop have Windows. So inside Windows I have first option is to configure it through CLI, or to check any information, like if I want to check IP address on my laptop, so I will get this command. So this is CLI, right? This is CLI where you put some command and you will get the data. So like I'm receiving such type of IP address on my multiple interfaces, and wireless have this one, right? So similar, I have graphical user interface also for the same thing, for the same purpose. So the next one is GUI, the graphical user interface, right? Okay, so graphical user interface is giving you more options to explore it, right? Like graphical user interface is actually easy to use, because if you don't know the commands, how you will configure the device. But on GUI of the device you have options to explore, you can get to idea where you have to configure, so you no need to put multiple commands on the device, right? But I'm starting with CLI. First of all, on CLI level, how we manage the device and how we configure the device. What is the first protocol that we use to manage for management purpose? For management, the first one is Telnet, guys. You know about Telnet protocol? Anyone knows about Telnet?
Telnet is used to verify the connection.
Okay. Okay, Telnet is, this is TCP based protocol, okay, which is using port number. What is the port number of Telnet?
21.
21, right? Is it correct? Then
Sorry, I think 23.
sorry,
23, I think. 23.
right, not 21, it's 23. Okay, 21 is for something else. So what is the purpose of Telnet? Telnet is used to take remote of any network device if they are supporting the Telnet, right? So first of all, you must know about TCP base. Actually this is from CCNA. So you know about TCP, because these are the basic fundamental you must know before entering the security. Okay, so just you can go little bit through it if you don't know what is TCP OSI model. So TCP is just your reliable protocol which makes sure your connection is established and how to establish, so it will take care all of these things. So Telnet is simple protocol to take the remote of network devices, or you can say devices, those are technical, right? They are supporting, if they are supporting. And one more thing, telnet is sharing the data in plain text mode, right? Shares the data in plain text mode. Plain text means, that means if someone try to capture your data, they can clearly see what you have configured, are you getting my point? Okay, so let me show you like how you can configure a device for telnet and ssh. So I'm using here VMware workstation. So uh, we will help you to install on your laptop. So this is VMware workstation, and I'm using Peanut Lab, or you can say you can use AVNG also. Both are similar type of simulation tools to configure the network devices or to do the practice. Now I have graphical user interface. Okay, so I am using here R1 and R2. Now let's start with the basic configuration. So I am going to make R1 as my client device and R2 as my server for telnet and ssh. Okay, so start with R1. Guys, is this visible to you, the font size, or do I need to increase the font size?
Yeah, visible, sir.
Okay, great. So let me define a little bit. So this is client, just what about how to, where is the font size? Okay, so this is our client, and this is our server. Okay, okay, and I'm going to be use this subnet between the devices. Okay, let's use 12 subnet. Okay, so that I'm going to be use. So first of all, let's start with configuration of R1. So we have here device. Still I don't configure any IP address. The interfaces are up. So we can start with Ethernet 0x0, no shutdown, and IP address is 12.1 with subnet mask. Okay, so now you can check the IP addresses on interface. Okay, show an interface with 0x0. Similar, configure the IP address on R2. Interface 0x0, no shutdown, IP address 12.2. Okay, show IP interface brief. So we have configured the IPs. So how do you configure telnet on any device? So if you know, some of Cisco devices have configured telnet by default. They have already configured telnet, So version 15.x have by default Telnet enabled, but if you talk about version 12, Telnet is not enabled by default on that version. But this is EVNG version which is 15, so I guess it must have. So how do you check? Show run pipe section line VTY. Guys, you know about line VTY feature. What is line VTY and what is the purpose of it? Line VTY is actually virtual terminal where you configure the remote configuration of the device. That means if I want to enable remote on my R2, I have to enable inside it. So I guess by default Telnet is not enabled here. If you see this command, transport input none, that means you can't take login of the device. Let me try from R1. Okay, so what I'm going to do, first of all, let's check the physical connectivity. Are you reachable or not? So we are reachable, right? Telnet 12.2. So you can see the connection is reviewed by remote host. That means the remote host is not supporting Telnet currently. So you need to configure it. So let me do what I can do. Line VTY 0 to 4. What is the meaning of 0 to 4, guys? What is the meaning of 0 to 4? This, why I configured 0 to 4. Even I can configure 0 to 0 also. Maybe this is not supporting here, but 0 to 1, right? So why we configure 0 to 4 and what is the meaning of it? Zero to 4 means how many device can take control of this device at a time. So that means if I have multiple engineers, so how many engineers can take remote of this device at the same time? So that is defining the value 0 to 4. That means 5 engineers. Okay, if I'm giving here 0 to 1, that means only 2. And the next thing is transport input Telnet. So I enabled Telnet using this command. Okay, exit. So now show run pipe section line VTY. So you can see the command is given here. The command is given here, right? So now let's try on R1 to take Telnet of it. See, the Telnet is opened. The Telnet is opened on R2, but what they are asking here? What is
Password.
the password? So that means they are asking about password, but how R2 is asking password? Okay, let me tell you something. Under line VTY, under line VTY, okay. So if you are getting login means if there is login configured under line VTY of the device, so that means device is asking for password. Are you getting my point? Okay, so if I don't want to use password, what I can do, maybe like just I'm trying to explain what is the meaning of the command. So if the command is already configured under the line VTY, you need to set password, then you can take remote of it, okay, like Telnet. But if you remove this command, device will not ask for password. Let's see, let's verify it. So we are on R2. So currently device is asking for password under line VTY. I can go and I can configure no login. Okay, and how we can verify? Again in the running line VTY, and we can see no login is configured now. So let's move to R1. Is Telnet connection established? Telnet connection is established, right?
Yes.
So that means under line VTY, if you are giving the command that is giving you impact on your remote connection, like how you can take remote, will it ask for password or not, right? So simply we removed the login command and device is not asking for password. You can log in directly. You can log in there directly. If you check show line VTY, wait a minute. Uh, what was the command? Show users. Yeah. So under show users command, you can see the line VTY2 is active, okay, and device is accessing whose IP address is 12.1.1.1. So you can check under the show users, okay. And if you want to terminate or you want to close the connection from server, clear line, and now you can check on R1. Okay, that's how you can clear. So now, as we are saying, by default is login. So login means device is asking for password, so you have to set the password. Okay, we have to set the password. And how we can do that? On R2, I'm again moving inside the line VTY. Okay, we can say login, but now you can't log in until you set the password. By default is login, that is with device, right? But if you remove the login command and again trying to log in it, you can't do that. Why? Because you have to set password first, then login command will be accepted by the device. So we need to do password, and password what we can do, anything like Cisco. Okay, we are on Cisco platform, so I'm using Cisco here. And now if I try login, if I try login, okay, show run pipe section line VTY. See, the commands are visible, right? Even now you can take remote of it, but it will ask password this time. Password is Cisco. See, is that clear, guys? Okay, but now if someone say how you can protect from everyone to take remote of this device, maybe you want to control by some of devices, maybe you want only this particular IP address can take access of this device. So how you can achieve that? Like I have 10 users in my LAN network and I only want to take access by one user. Any guess?
To know the IP address.
Yes, but how? How can I apply on server on R2?
Zero VTY 0, one user.
Okay, with zero means anyone can take remote but only one device. Line VTY 0, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but that is not good solution. So I must say we have to use to control the access of device, need to specify the user with ACL. Okay, and apply on line VTY. Are you getting my point? What I want to do, I will configure a ACL with users who are allowed to access the router, right? And that ACL I can apply inside the line VTY of my router. So every time router will look into ACL, if user is permitted, that is only allowed to access. Are you getting my point?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so let's try. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to configure access list standard 12.1. Okay, so I am just allowing one IP address. So later on I will change my router IP and I will try with the new IP also. And with this command I will give log means it will generate the logs. Okay, and deny any, so it will by default deny, but just I am doing this command to generate the log on the router. Okay, if you check show access list, and you can see the access list is 1, which is standard ACL. The sequence 10 is giving permission to 12.1 with logs. That means it will generate the logs when this user is going to hit, right? And it will deny everything else and also generate the log message. That means this user tried to hit on line VTY and these are the logs of the user. Okay, and the next point is configure this on line VTY access class 1 in. So this is the command to configure the access class, means I'm talking about the standard ACL, and 1 is the ACL number. Okay, direction is in means if anyone try to hit on line VTY 0 to 4, so you must check the ACL and accordingly give the permission to access, otherwise deny the user, right? So let's try this time. I forgot to drop the connection. See, permitted to this, that is the one packet, right? Okay, are you getting the point? So that means 12.1 is eligible to access it. Okay, and now if I'm going to change the IP address of 12.1, so let's suppose interface it 12.10, I change the IP address and now IP address is 12.10, and this time I'm going to try to hit. See, the connection is refused by the host. The connection is refused by the host, and see, is that clear, guys? How you can control?
Yes, sir.
So I guess everyone is aware with access list, because this is the basic access list which we discussed here. But on ASA I will discuss more about ACL, how we can configure the ACL on Cisco ASA, and how it work, right? So ACL, you must know about ACL first, then you will understand it, right? So if you have any doubt till now, please you can ask. Okay, so now anyone knows about like what is the challenge with Telnet? Anyone? Any idea?
The persons can access the server remotely.
No, what is the challenge with Telnet? No, like Telnet is used to take remote of the device, so that's why we are using Telnet, right? But what
Yes.
is the problem with Telnet? That I want to know. Why we can't use Telnet? This is not secure to configure or manage the device. Why? Because if any attacker is in between the network, can easily capture the packets. So that means if there is any attacker in between your network, so that attacker can easily capture the packet and see what information inside the talent packet, what information inside the talent packet. So this is critical. This is critical. I can't capture currently because I have to fix, because my talent packet capturing is not working with this tool, but I can check with some. Wait a minute, there is some packet life or something. Okay, maybe this is the sample. Let me try this one. Seriously. There was a site where you can get any type of capture, but why it's not? Maybe this one, Cloud Shark. Yes, okay. Like this is some type of talent data, and you can see this is the talent data. Is there any option to download it? Okay. Seriously, what is this file? Do I have voice arc? Yes. So guys, you can see this is the telnet traffic, okay, and this is the actual data, and let me open it. Wait, seriously, this is the only data where we have final data. Just wait a minute. Telnet connection is by 10.1, so last capture must be from 10.1. Actually traffic is not visible, we have to generate by ourselves. So where we can check Telnet traffic is not secure, and we can easily check the traffic. That is my point. But if I try to capture from my device, it's not allowing me. Wait. Yeah, it has some error, so I can't open it. Okay. So I guess this is clear to everyone. If you have any doubt, you can ask in Telnet. So the next topic is about SSH. So we have to discuss, or we have to give more time to SSH protocol, so we can compare about the versions and why SSH is more secure protocol. So if this is clear, we can start with SSH, guys. If you have any question, please ask. One protocol, that is SSH, that is secure shell. So secure shell is also TCP based. Okay, this is also TCP based.
This protocol.
Yeah, and protocol number is, what is the protocol number? 22. Okay, and this is sharing data secretly, like this is sharing data with encrypted format, so no one can decrypt that and see the confidential information inside it. So that's why we use SSH when we are taking remote of any device in a network. Okay, like if I am here in Delhi and I want to access any device remotely through Bangalore or somewhere else, okay, so I must use SSH at that time. So we have multiple versions also. SSH, like we have three version: version 1, version 1.5, and version 2. So these are the versions, and we will discuss according Cisco also what are the type of versions. Okay, but I guess today we don't have enough time to discuss about SSH, so I will continue tomorrow about it. But here we can discuss